Hi, how are you? I am Christy Knights, and today we are going to talk about how to have those tough conversations with our partners. One of the most difficult things is communicating with our partner. So today we are going to spend just a few minutes looking at, hi, good evening, Beach and Smartwater. Good to see you tonight. We're going to take a few minutes and look at how to talk effectively with our partner. And this can be applied to anybody. It can be applied to any friendship. Hey, Amy, it's great to see you. Any relationship. Looking at those tough conversations that we want to have with our partner. My name is Christy Knights, and you can find more information about my services at Christy Knights. Hello, Dave. It's great to see you. KRISTIEKNIGHTS.com. Hello, Watch Out Now. It's good to see you, and we're talking about how to have tough conversations with people we care about. From Lower Burl, that is awesome. It's great to talk with you, Dave, tonight. And as many of you know, I like to have the interaction. I like to communicate with people and ask questions if you have questions. Hi, Kinsley, it's great to see you. As a psychotherapist, I spend all day long sitting with people in really difficult places in their life. So it's really comfortable for me just to interact with you and have that opportunity to ask questions that perhaps you haven't been comfortable asking other people. Again, I'm a psychotherapist and a divorce recovery coach, and I specialize in relationships. Hi, I am Stephanie. It's great to see you. We're going to let some more people come into the room. Again, I would love to connect with you either on my website to read my blogs or on Facebook at christyknights.com. Yes, Dave, mate, I have been divorced. I've been divorced for about 3 years. So talking on having difficult conversations definitely comes from a learning experience as well as my experience with clients in my office. We have difficult conversations or need to have them, whether it is at work or in our homes or just with our partners. So tonight I'm going to give you some key principles on how to have those difficult conversations with people. Again, if this is something of interest that you may think other people would be wanting to hear, please swipe up, swipe down, or across to share this with others. The reason for my divorce was truly multiple reasons. There isn't just one, but we weren't able to communicate effectively, which was one of them, which is why this is really close to my heart. Hey, good evening, Ken. It's good to see you. There isn't any reason for me to lie. If you know me, many of you do know me because you come to my scopes. I am very transparent. So part of the reason why I like to share with others is because I think transparency and vulnerability is really important in growth. Oh no, I get that, Dave. Yeah, you're right. In general, people really have a lot of shame around divorce. People really struggle to own the reasons they are divorced. So yeah, I run into that too, that it's difficult to talk about. It's difficult for people to really be honest about that. So let's look at a tough way to have a conversation. Growing apart is part of that, but there are many reasons people grow apart, right? They grow apart due to a lack of communication, inability to grow towards one another, turning outside the marriage, or just a lack of commitment to working through the relationship and understanding one another. So yeah, cheating is very common. It's much more common than we realize, right? It's about 70% in divorce rates, although divorce is around 55 to 60%. The reason for the divorce is about 70% cheating, which, right, is really difficult to hear. And that level of betrayal and trust can be very damaging to the relationship. But let's look at having those difficult conversations, whether we're talking about a partner or any other type of relationship. So we want to not put off difficult conversations because it creates distance in those relationships. Number one is to look at what are your expectations. Your expectations for the conversation need to be very realistic. You need to expect that there is going to be some level of discomfort with this conversation. Going in assuming that there is ease just isn't realistic. You want to look at it from a positive perspective and not from a negative perspective in terms of your expectations. Go in with the hope to find a resolution, not about who's right and wrong, but a resolution. Next, know why you want to have the talk. Understand what your goal is for the conversation. Oftentimes we go into the conversation with a specific reason, but we come out with a totally different response. We come out with a frustration level because what we went in to talk about oftentimes is skirted, not discussed, or there's a level of manipulation within the conversation that the original topic gets lost. Yes, Amy, you're right. When your ex cheats on you, it's very difficult to see, or that feeling that you're not good enough. But cheating is oftentimes not about the other person not being good enough. It really originates with the person who has cheated and their issues. It has nothing to do with that other person. It's that other person, the person who cheated, the cheater. It's their insecurities that caused them to turn outside the marriage. So Amy, you're not responsible for those actions. The third point is accept it will probably be a stressful conversation, right? We talked about that level of discomfort. Conflict anytime, whether it's with a child, a spouse, or someone at work, can be very stressful. Very stressful. Whenever you start that conversation, we want to address it appropriately. So we want to go in not feeling defensive, not at a place where we want to attack, but instead with a level of openness. You're absolutely right, Dave. Oftentimes the other person could be the issue. And if they don't want to be intimate, that's certainly an area that you want to talk about with them and have an open conversation. And if you're not able to do that before the relationship ends, it's important that you do everything possible, even if it means seeking additional support or counseling to get that issue of intimacy on the table. Hi, EJ, it's great to see you. Hello, MST. Tonight we're talking about how to have a difficult conversation with someone we care about. Hello, 2054. It's great to see you as well. And Jeff, thank you so much. And thank you for the hearts. I appreciate the hearts. If this is an area that interests you, swipe up, swipe down, share this with those you care about the most so that they can benefit from this conversation too. Again, I'm Christy Knights and I'm a psychotherapist in private practice and a divorce recovery coach. And tonight we're talking about difficult conversations. So as I had said, whenever you start to talk, open it with a non-defensive stance. Instead of saying things like, we have to talk, or can we talk, start it with something more warm, like, I have been thinking about something I want to share, or I have some thoughts I would like to share. So starting it from an open perspective rather than defense allows that person to see that there is an opportunity to be heard and validated rather than attacking. Hey, Chief, it's good to see you, and thank you for others who have joined the room. It's great to see each of you this evening, and thank you for those hearts. Whenever you begin to have that conversation, please be sure that you're not going in with the attempt to manipulate. Good evening, BMC. Great to see you too. So the conversation and the manipulation that you do not want to experience is that ability to frustrate the other person with trying to maneuver and get them to a place where you think it's best for you. Good evening, PM. Hello, Metin711. It's great to see you too. So when I talk about manipulation, what I mean is don't invite your spouse out to the movies when truly you intend to talk. That's right, Amy. Timing is critical. So when is the best time to talk to your spouse? How do we know when the best time to talk to our spouse is? Oftentimes for men, it's whenever they're well rested, well fed, and often relaxing. This is a more opportune time than the first 3 minutes they walk through the door after a long day at work. Women tend to be more impulsive, and we want to talk immediately. And we want to bombard them as they walk through the door with our frustrations. It doesn't work for men. It's a waste of time. For women, the best time to talk to a woman is after she has been cared for, after the evening is over, and she is beginning to relax as well. She needs to know that it's really important that she is heard. Yes, David, it's kind of hard not to manipulate, though. I think it's a natural thing. You're absolutely right. I think there are times where we have tendencies, Dave, to manipulate. I think we don't do it always intentionally. Dave, can you think of an example of whenever we manipulate but we don't intend? Because I agree with you. I think that happens. So when we're having these conversations, be sure our intention is not manipulation, that we're upfront and honest. Timing is everything, so don't expect your partner to want to talk immediately. Perhaps they would like to talk later. Or perhaps they're the type that process the information rather than speaking immediately. That's something important too. Yes, Dave, with those salesman tendencies, then it's easy to talk all the time. You're absolutely right, but not everybody is ready. I know for me, when I'm having a difficult conversation with someone, whether it's a friend or it's my spouse, because I did remarry, Dave, I've been blessed, I tend to make sure that I am on the top of my game and that I'm not angry or bitter. I wait until I'm calm. And yes, location is everything, Chief. You're absolutely right. Good evening, Brian. It's great to see you. So when I begin to talk, I want to be very open-minded, and I know that what my spouse, my partner, or my friend needs to say, I need to listen intently. I need to be prepared to listen and not attack. So you take that non-defensive stand, right? As you are listening in a conversation that's difficult, you want to validate. You want them to understand that what they say is important. So validation is the number one way for successful communication. A place of emotional rationality is the key. Absolutely, Beach Paradise. Thank you. Good evening, Kay. It's great to see you. And thank you again for the hearts. Again, my name is Christy Knights, and I am a psychotherapist and a divorce recovery coach. And tonight we're talking about communication. Good evening, Lonnie. It's great to see you. I love participation. I love your questions. Having difficult conversations is difficult in any relationship. So I'm giving you some key principles on how to do it. If you've been writing them down, let's just briefly go over them. Good evening, Will. It's great to see you. Do you think that comes with age, knowing when to have to talk? Coming with age, absolutely there's wisdom with age, but I also believe that it comes with knowledge, with understanding and patience. And it is a very giving, yes, you can't be selfish in conversation. Being condescending can be a defense mechanism, Dave. So if it's something you've been accused of, it's certainly something to perhaps look into, to step back and say, okay, does this person have a point? Good evening. Hey, it's great to see you. Thank you for joining us as we talk about relationships and communication with people and having those difficult conversations. So being condescending can be a turnoff, right? Because if you get the impression that I have no time for you, then the last thing you want to do is have a conversation with me. That's why it's important to validate, Dave. That's why it's important that if someone has said that we take pause and take note. You're absolutely right. I think that, Dave's saying about feelings, that we can't make someone feel something. However, we can be responsible for our own words. Certain way they choose to feel as they do, absolutely. I'm not responsible for how you feel, but I am responsible for the words that come out of my mouth. And being responsible for my words is being responsible for my integrity and our relationship. So that's my part. But absolutely right, I don't make you feel angry. You may choose to feel angry because of my words. But I certainly want to be respectful of that and take responsibility for my own. That's a great point, Dave. Thank you very much. The other areas I want you to be careful of is not to trap your partner or your friend. And what I mean by that is do not have these conversations with them in the car. Do not have the conversations where they're trapped. I would love to be able to help and support you, Chief. My website is Christy Knights, Kristie, KNIGHTS.com. Through my website, you can email me, Chief, and I would be more than happy to support you with your fiance in learning how to communicate. I think marriage is absolutely beautiful, Dave. We all need help, whether we are in the infancy of a relationship or we've been married 35 years or 67 years, as my grandparents have been married. I think that it's when you're willing to ask for that help, it shows true growth and promise in any relationship. So whether you're with your child or you're in a relationship, do not trap them. Do not attempt to have difficult conversations in vehicles or in a restaurant where it's public. You want to respect privacy. So as we're looking, yes, but you should go into feeling good if you need help before the marriage as well. I believe that, yes, you want to go in with positives, absolutely. But I think going into any relationship, eyes wide open is so important. Dave, eyes wide open. There are going to be bumps in the road, whether you're dating or whether you've been married for a long time. The expectation, like we talked about, the expectation is that it's realistic. It's not this fairy tale that there aren't going to be problems. Chief, I give you a lot of credit for wanting to work through that prior to the marriage. I think that's great. And absolutely, when it comes to these conversations, make sure there aren't anything. Make sure there aren't anything distracting. Your TV, your phone. You know what, Chief? It's not a problem. If you're following me, then you have my information right on my profile, so it won't be an issue. We definitely want you to drive safely. So as you're having these difficult conversations, I encourage you, shut off the TV, shut off the music, put down your phone, and be able to make that eye contact, right? And be prepared. Back up your concerns and your thoughts and your ideas with facts, not emotion. That's a great question, Dave. It's interesting when I talk about relationships and communication. Yesterday I talked about the love languages. I continue to be asked about an open marriage. In my opinion, an open marriage, or I should say open relationship in general, is not an effective relationship that's healthy. I think that many people attempt it. People see that they can have a strong bond, but I disagree. I think marriage was truly intended between two people for commitment, for an ability to be loyal and to lead a life with integrity. When there is an open relationship, share with me, Will. I like to hear your perspective that you disagree. I think that that's really important that we're open to everybody's thoughts on this. When I talk about it as a psychotherapist with an open relationship, what I've seen in my office, hi Jordan, it's great to see you again. Thank you so much. What I've seen in my office, hi Chuck, is people who are in open relationships struggle with trust, betrayal, loneliness. They feel as if there's not a level of commitment there. So oftentimes it creates a lot of tension. I've not seen open relationships successful in my practice. Now, that's not to say it can't happen, right? Surely, as you're saying, Will, that you have seen it successful. And between two people who have the same agreement, absolutely. But rarely do I see it where one person doesn't develop stronger feelings than the other. And that's where it really becomes a problem in an open relationship. Hey, Ben, it's great to see you. Tonight we're talking about having that difficult relationship with our friends and family, and I'm giving you some pointers in having successful relationships. My name is Christy Knights. Isn't that a slip, right? Christy Knights. Hey, from Pittsburgh. It's great to see you. I'm not far from you. So Christy Knights, KRISTIEKNIGHTS.com. You can get more information about me. You can touch base with me on email. Yes, the Steelers. Go Steelers, right? Hello, Tsunami God. It's great to see everybody. And you're from Charleston. Hello from Charleston. Thank you for joining me. I love to be interactive. Do you have questions about having difficult conversations? Do you have questions about relationships in general? I'm more than happy to help you with that. And Will, please don't be afraid to share your thoughts on an open relationship. I think you have a lot to offer to people who are here. Good evening, SM. It's great to see you. The other thing, what I want you to do in a conversation that's difficult is that you reach an agreement that you both can live with. So that does not mean one person is right and one person is wrong. It means it's something you both can agree to. When we talk about sex, Tsunami God, that's a whole different area. Now, tonight we're not talking about sex. Although it's a really good question, I think that it's important to understand the sexual needs of our partner. Let's table that for later, and I'll certainly open that up. Go ahead and follow me, Tsunami God, and I will open that up for discussion about sex at a later date. But tonight we're sticking to the topic of absolutely table it later, right? Absolutely. So we will talk about in terms of communication, right? So tonight we're talking about communication. So again, what I want you to do is really focus on a mutual agreement. So oftentimes when my husband and I talk, he will come to a place and he'll say, look, clearly we're not going to agree on this. So we're going to agree to disagree respectfully. So it doesn't mean you're right or I am right. It simply means that I respect your perspective and you respect mine. This comes into play in particular when we try to schedule events for our family. I'm not a big scheduler. I fly by the seat of my pants. I'm fine with that. He likes a calendar. And we have agreed to disagree in terms of, I think it's helpful and beneficial to be really flexible. That's a useful skill in our life, where he feels more structure is important. So we can continue to fight over this, or we can come to a mutually agreed agreement that it's okay. We're going to try to use the calendar to the best of our ability and what we can live with. Hi, Branded family. It's great to see you. The other area I want to address in terms of tough conversations is listening respectfully. Hey, Madeline, it's great to see you this evening. Thank you for joining us. Listening respectfully to one another. So active listening is essential. How many of us struggle to listen? Go ahead, share, be honest, be vulnerable. There are times when my emotions get the best of me and I struggle to listen. We're trying to think of what's next in conversation. Hey, Karen, it's great to see you. We're trying to think of our next point. But if you are able to be present in the moment and being willing to truly listen to your partner, then you will be able to hear what is truly the issue and not what the anger is just about. I'm doing well, Karen. It is great to see you. How are you? We were talking about tough conversations. So I'm going to open it up for some questions. Please keep your questions about relationships in terms of communication, how to communicate effectively, into that area. If you have other requests, please don't be shy. I can certainly talk on something else at a later date. I don't think that lying is effective within a relationship, Dave. I think that oftentimes lies lead to distrust, right? Betrayal. It's just not healthy to lie. We want that transparency within a relationship. And if there isn't that transparency, then being able to work towards that. Oftentimes, if we need to lie, then there's something going on inside us. There's a fear of rejection, a fear of abandonment, or perhaps just an avoidance of conflict. A lot of people think staying single can be better and that it can be a better life. It truly is unique. Thank you so much for the hearts. I really appreciate the hearts. It truly is up to that person. Perhaps what you wanted to say isn't what she wanted to hear. Good, effective communication isn't about just saying what the other person wants to hear. Clearly, she may need some work too in learning how to communicate effectively. The last thing I want is a spouse or a friend who says what I want to hear. I have no interest in that. I need someone who can be honest and real and raw with me so we grow together, both as a couple and individually. Do we keep some thoughts private? Absolutely. Say my spouse, I'm not thrilled with something. I pick my battles. But when it comes to true issues, I want to make sure I put it out there. So Dave, do you have an example of something perhaps is healthier to keep to yourself rather than share? Something you're thinking that maybe it's better it's private. Because I do agree with you, there are some things. We want to pick and choose. Again, share this with your friends. Swipe up, swipe down, swipe left, swipe right, whatever it is for your device. I'd love for you to share. Do I look fat in these jeans? Oh, the loaded question by a woman, right? Why is she asking it anyways? So, hey, Jesus, it's great to see you tonight. I see where you're going with this, Dave. So you're going to pick and choose your battles. So when she says to you, do I look fat in these jeans? Hey, Maddie, you can certainly say, you look beautiful. You always look beautiful to me. But darling, if you feel uncomfortable in your jeans, find something else to wear. I want you to feel good in them. How about that? So, but I didn't lie, unless you really think she looks awful in the jeans. Dave, do you think she looks awful in the jeans? We want that honesty, but you're right. You don't want to hurt someone's feelings. Hey, D-Bach, it's great to see you. We're talking about difficult conversations as well as a question and answer right now about relationships and communication. If she looks fat in them, Dave, your job is to reassure her and allow her to feel absolutely beautiful no matter what she's wearing. And I don't care how you have to do it. You fill her with love, affection. You tell her that she is an absolute knockout because that's your job as a partner, right? It's to allow her to feel that special, unique place, that place where you fell in love with her. Thank you so much for the hearts. I really appreciate it. I am Christy Knight, psychotherapist and a divorce recovery coach. Do you have other questions about how to communicate effectively in relationships, how to have those difficult conversations? Number one, always validate. Actively listen. These are really important. Any other questions before we sign off tonight? My job is to raise someone else's. Yes, Dave. When it's a partner, when it is someone you love and you care about, your job is to edify them. It is to raise them up. Not singly, but in addition to what they do. So yes, our job, my job for you, Dave, if you were sitting in my office, trust me, even though we may not be in a relationship, because I care about you, I'm going to edify you. I'm going to bring out your strengths. I'm going to show you where you shine, Dave, so that you become the best person possible. Hey, Maddie, and my spouse does the same thing. He works to really care for me and raise me up. He supports what I do. You know what? I missed that question, Chief. Do you mind sending that again? It scrolled too fast, so I apologize. I wanted to get to that. Thank you so much for the hearts. Hello, NY Nix. It's great to see you this evening. We're doing some question and answer as a psychotherapist. I am more than happy to support and help you in your relationship struggles in terms of communication. Tonight, our questions are about communication and what to share. Other questions? Hey, Chief, do you mind shooting that question again? I apologize that I missed it. I want to make sure that I catch that. So is that clear, Dave? Does that make sense? You know, I do think that we want to edify the other person. We find ways to love them so they feel good about themselves. You are not solely responsible for her self-esteem, not at all. I am solely responsible for it. That's great, Chief. Go ahead and contact me via email. I would love that. I'm responsible personally for my own self-esteem. However, my spouse's job is to edify and lift me up and enhance it. And I surround myself with people who do that. If you're in my life and you tear me down, there's no room for you. I have no time for you. And Dave, I encourage the same. If your spouse isn't lifting you, Dave, you need to talk to her about that and how important it is for you to feel wanted and needed in your relationship. Thank you so much for the hearts. I appreciate the hearts. Any more questions before we sign off? This has been an awesome scope. Thank you so much tonight for your time. Again, share this with your friends and family. Swipe up, swipe down, swipe left, swipe right, whatever it takes to share that. Really appreciate it. You can find more information about, or if you'd like to work with me directly, at Christy Knights, just as it sounds.com. KRISTIEKNIGHTS.com. Follow me on Facebook for great information as well as videos. Hey, NY Nix, what are the effects of false positives? Can you give me a little bit more about that and I can sit down and we can speak about that? What do you mean by false positives? Explain a little bit more. Ah, yes. So sometimes the truth will hurt, but whenever the truth hurts, at least we're building some strength in the relationship, some resilience in the relationship. It may be painful. The other day I was having a conversation with my spouse and I went into a place I shouldn't have. And he looked at me and he said, "Are we going to have a productive conversation or are you going to assassinate my character? You are engaged in character assassination right now." I didn't realize I was doing it. I was being very underhanded about it, but I was angry and emotional. So that truth hurt. It sat with me for a while, but it allowed me to reflect on my own behavior and to grow from it so that I don't hurt him further. So I do believe that it is effective when delivered in a healthy way. And why? When you deliver those truths in a healthy way, it can be very effective. And after the sting, as a couple, you heal from it. Or in a friendship, you heal from it, right? It's the same with our children. Perhaps our children tell us something we don't want to hear. Perhaps we missed something in parenting. I would rather know and grow, even though that truth hurts, than to damage that relationship. That's a healthy, mature relationship. That's a great point, NY Nix. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that thought. And thank you for the hearts. Very good. Anything else, NY Nix? Again, if you want to reach out to me, don't hesitate on Facebook or through the internet on my website. I'll be more than happy to connect with you through email and more than happy to work with you directly, whether it's in coaching or perhaps it's in psychotherapy, whatever your needs are, I can certainly support you in. We just had a whole bunch of people join join our chat today. Hi, everybody. It's great to see you. Hey, Henry Parsons, great to see you. We are talking about communication and effective communication, how to have those difficult conversations with people we love. And I've been opening it up for some questions and answer session. We talked about several points on how to have those difficult conversations. If you missed that info and you would like more information, please don't hesitate to email me directly at christy@christyknights.com and I will give you a summary of the scope. Or of course, hit replay and share it with people you love. Thank you so much for a great evening, everybody. And I will be in touch again about communication. Thanks for the great questions. You guys were awesome. This was awesome. Have a great night and thank you for the hearts.